Hi, my name is Dawn Neiman, and we are about to launch into some vowel teams. Those vowel teams, they play together as partners. They are in love, so I'm going to send you a bit of love here as we go into how are we going to do this with our students. So, if we take a look at how are we going to begin, it probably makes the most sense to start off with your phonological awareness with these sounds. So we're going to start with ooh, and I want you to listen for where do you hear the ooh? Is it in the middle or is it at the end? And if you want to draw an arrow to show that that's in the middle, I've placed a chip in the middle versus at the end. You can do that and give them a variety of words where they're listening just for that ooh sound, because that's what we are about to move into. Now, just like before, and all the other concepts that you have taught, you want to scaffold what do they already know with what are you about to teach. So I'm going to go through how we already know open and closed, and I'll ask them to do that hand motion of open and closed. I'll ask them silent E and how they're going to make that motion. And if you've already taught are controlled by this point, which most of you probably have, we'll do that are controlled. We know four out of the six syllable types. We're going on to our new vowel, our new type, which is vowel team, and that's going to be our little hand motion. We're going to make a heart because these guys play together as a team. Your picture and your keywords are going to be food is good. Now, we're just going to deal with the food part for a day or two until you get really good at that. And then we'll circle back and pick up the part, which is a lot more difficult. So here's your new card. We're going to look at this, and you see those two O's together. They are going to make the ooh sound. Look at my lips and see how they are puckered out. Ooh. Here's a mirror. Take a look. Have your lips do the same thing. If you have a sound wall to refer to, then have them look at that as well. And I'm going to tell you that OO says ooh anywhere in the word. So, oops, food, zoo. We're going to come back to the part a little later. Just like all of the other lesson plans that you're going to do this I do, we do, you do. So I'm going to show you this first word, and I've highlighted those OO together so that they kind of pop off the page. And I'm going to say to you, okay, I know that OO says ooh. So I'm going to sound out this first word and go ooh, root. Okay, let me show you one other because it can also be that OO comes at the end, saying ooh. I look at that word ZOO and I'm going to say Z, and then I'm going to say ooh because I know that OO says ooh. So that's the I do part of this. Now let's try some together. Look at that next word, and I want you to highlight or pop in a different color the OO. What is it going to say? Okay, let's finger spell that word together. And we might go s, oo, p, sloop. Great. Let's try one more together. What do you know about OO? They should say it says ooh. Good job. Okay, let's finger spell this. T, ooh, two. Yes, like I want to go two. All right, now let me see if you can do two on your own before we go on and do a few other things. And I would guide them to do moon and troop. When they go to do trace copy cover, they are going to say, oh says ooh. And in your Google Drive folder, under that trace copy cover folder, you will see says ooh, and trace copy cover closed or trace copy cover avert. Now, you're going to read a lot of words. And if I go back to this list, you'll see how, for those of you who are only in one syllable land, you're going to stick to those one syllable words at the top. Those of you who have already taught your students, let's say the rabbit syllable division, when two consonants are between two vowels, divide between them. Well, then you might be able to give them mushroom and monsoon. You see how cartoon has an R controlled vowel as well as that OO syllable of that vowel team. So OO says ooh. You will read words, you will read phrases, you will read sentences. I will have you go back and reread those sentences for some fluency. I will ask you about the comprehension of those sentences. We will discuss grammar, like the bird, what's the noun in the sentence, what's another noun you can find, what is swoop, what does swoop mean, to expand upon your vocabulary in case you don't know that word. But I can get you to read a sentence, draw a quick picture for me, and that tells me if you are comprehending the sentence. I can ask you to spell a bunch of words, and here are some pictures that go with some OO words. Once they get good at doing OO says ooh, now we're ready to go on to the second sound, which is OO says ooh or And this is like someone just like punched the air out of you. And it is saying that sound. It is definitely more complicated, particularly if you have English language learners. This is a very difficult sound. So I'm going to guide you again, and I'm going to tell you that OO says only comes in the middle. Now, I'm going to pretend you do not know these words. We're starting at the very beginning. You're going to try what you already know, which is OO says ooh. And you look at that first word and you go ooh, k, rook. If rook is not a word that you recognize, then you're going to have to try it the second way, k, rook. Now, if they don't know which one is correct, then you're going to have to teach that associated vocabulary with that word. So they will do that for all of these words. Shook, shook, good, good. If you look at the ones in red, you will see that there are some words that it depends upon your dialect. And then there are some words that they're going to think that they're correct and they're not because they sound the same. So look at hoof. Some of you say hoof and some of you say hoof. Some of you say roof. Some of you say roof. You have to be able to accept either of those answers. I would accept the dialect that they say. If you're not sure what you say it in a sentence so that you're not thinking about it. If you look at that SOOT, soot, your kids are going to go, oh, that's a word, not this word. This is soot. And then you're going to have to teach them this is the kind of suit that you might wear. This is soot. And they're going to say that's not a word. You're going to have to teach them what soot is. If you have older students, you see how at the bottom, you're going to try football, football. And you see how I've given you some examples with two-syllable words. Now, when we go to do our trace copy cover for this, we're going to say O says ooh or And the reason we're going to say ooh or is because I don't want you to forget what the first sound that you already have. That first sound is way more common. And we're talking about 1,462 words. So this is really going to make a big impact. When I show you this card from now on, I want you to say ooh and And if you say it in the exact opposite order, then I'm going to prompt you to do it the other way. I want the most common one first. When you do your blending drill activity, and you can use UFly's blending board if you need a virtual one. There's also a really nice blending board, which is blendingboard.cmat.dev. And so students will look at those words and go b-oop, b-up, d-oom, d-um, right? And they're going to try both of them. When you ask them to spell, they can sort words into oo or So I've provided some example scaffolding of what you might do with some students versus others. For some students, this may take you 5 full lessons. And you see how you can start with oo, then on day 2, you can ramp it up to add more sophisticated concepts like rabbits. Then you can try you can do the same thing with day 2, and then you can mix them. For other students, that is going to be way too slow of a pace. And so you might be able to get away with doing ooh on the first day, on the second day, and then mixing them on the third day. Here's a board game that I've just created, and it is in your Google Drive folder. It's played like the other games where you pick a card and you read it, and you have to decide, is it ooh or is it uh? If it's ooh, you go on the picture of food. If it's you go on the picture of good. So I hope that that is helpful for you and that you have great success with your students. Remember, you are looking for accuracy before moving on to the next concept.